Rihan was 12 years old when he learned that a man's greatest enemy is not poverty, nor failure, nor the people who hate him, it is the chaos that lives inside his own mind. His father, Umar, was not a rich man. He didn't wear expensive watches or drive a polished car. He was a carpenter, the kind of man who fixed things that were broken, not just with tools, but with principles. His hands were scarred from years of labor, his voice deep and firm, but never cruel. He didn't speak much, yet when he did, silence followed. One afternoon, Rihan came home from school with a trembling heart. His backpack felt heavier than usual, not because of the books inside, but because of guilt. He had cheated. There was a math test that morning. He hadn't studied. He planned to fake sickness, but fear of punishment kept him from doing so. Instead, when the teacher handed out papers, he looked at the boy sitting in front of him and silently copied the answers. Nobody saw him. Nobody suspected him. He got a full score, 20 out of 20. His classmates clapped. The teacher praised him. His friends called him a genius. But at home, when his father asked, "How was school?" he froze. "Fine," Rihan replied too quickly. His father nodded, but his eyes lingered a moment longer than usual. Rihan knew he sensed something. That night, Rihan couldn't sleep. Success didn't bring pride, it brought shame. Every time he closed his eyes, one sentence echoed in his skull like a hammer striking metal. "You are a liar." He rolled on his bed, pushing his face into the pillow, trying to suffocate the voice. He wanted to forget. He wanted to justify it. It was just a small test, he told himself. Everyone cheats sometimes. But his mind refused. It attacked him like a wolf tearing flesh from bone. The next morning, he woke up early. He went to his father, who was sipping tea by the window, ready to leave for work. Sunlight touched his weathered face as steam curled above the cup. "Baba," Rihan whispered. His throat tightened. Umar looked at him without blinking. "Yes, I lied." Silence. Tears welled up in Rihan's eyes as he confessed the whole story. The cheating. The fake praise. The applause he didn't deserve. His father didn't shout, didn't hit, didn't call him a disappointment. He simply asked, "Do you know why I'm not angry?" Rihan shook his head, confused. "Because the world didn't punish you," Umar said. "Your own mind did. That means it is still alive. That means you are still worthy." He stood and placed his rough hand on Rihan's shoulder. "Listen to me carefully, son. A man is not defined by what others see, but by what his mind says when he is alone. Your mind is your judge. If you lose control of it, you will lie once, then twice, and one day, you'll lie so much that even you won't know who you are." He stepped away, grabbed his coat, and said, "You will go to school today. You will tell your teacher the truth. Not for her. Not for me. For you. You must prove to your own mind that you still control it, or it will control you." Rihan felt his chest burn with fear. "What if she hates me?" "She might," Umar nodded. "And your classmates will laugh. But better to be ashamed for a day, than live dishonored for a lifetime." School felt heavier than prison that day. Each step toward the classroom door was like dragging a chain tied to his legs. When he saw his teacher, his heart punched against his ribs. "Miss." She turned with a smile. "Yes, Rihan." His mouth dried. He wanted to run. His mind started whispering, "Lie again. Say nothing. Nobody knows." But then, he remembered his father's words. "If you don't control your mind, it will control you." He forced his voice to work. "I cheated on the test yesterday." Silence. Her smile vanished. The classroom fell quiet. "Why are you telling me this now?" she finally asked. Because it is the truth, he whispered, tears slipping down his cheeks. The teacher didn't yell. She simply nodded slowly and tore his paper in half. You will retake the test after school. If you fail, you fail. If you pass with honor. Go to your seat. Laughter bubbled from the back of the classroom. Someone whispered, teacher's pet got caught. But strangely, Rihan didn't feel weak. He felt clean. The test after school was harder. Harder than the first. Harder than his guilt. But he completed it with his own mind. No cheating, no glances, no lies. He scored 13 out of 20. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. That evening, Rihan placed the new test paper on the table in front of his father. His father looked at the score, then smiled. Now, he said, you have won. Rihan frowned. But this score is lower. Umar shook his head. No, it is higher. Because before, your marks were in numbers. Now, your marks are in your soul. He leaned closer, eyes intense. Son, remember this forever. The strongest man is not the one who defeats others, but the one who defeats his own weakness. You controlled your mind today. And that means it will obey you tomorrow. Years passed. Rihan grew into a disciplined, hard-working young man. When his friends partied all night, he studied. When they mocked him for being boring, he smiled. They chased pleasure. He chased purpose. When they lied to impress people, he spoke less, but every word was steel. He didn't become rich immediately. He didn't become famous. But people trusted him. They respected him. They gave him responsibilities others could not handle. One day, while working at a construction firm, he found himself in a situation eerily similar to his childhood. A senior manager approached him with an offer. Sign off on this false report, the man whispered. We'll save money. The client won't know. I'll give you a cut. Temptation clawed at him. It promised wealth, comfort, status. But his father's voice echoed in his skull. The world didn't punish you. Your own mind did. He looked the man in the eye and said, no. The manager sneered. Do you know what you're refusing? Yes, Rihan replied calmly. I'm refusing to betray myself. He walked away. He expected consequences. Maybe he'd lose his job. Maybe he'd be blacklisted. But 3 months later, an investigation exposed the corrupt manager. The CEO discovered that Rihan had refused to be involved, and promoted him. Not because he was brilliant. Not because he was ambitious. But because he was trustworthy. When people asked him where he learned such discipline, he always said, I didn't learn it. I fought for it. Inside my mind. One evening, Rihan returned home to visit his aging father. Umar was weaker now, his hands still scarred but his hair white. They sat together silently, just like when Rihan was young. After a while, Rihan spoke softly. Baba, do you remember the math test? His father chuckled. You think I could forget? Rihan's voice trembled. That lesson saved my life. His father placed a hand on his shoulder just as he had years ago. No, son, you saved your own life, the day you decided to control your mind instead of being controlled by it. And that night, Rihan finally understood. Honesty is not about telling the truth to others. It is about not lying to yourself. Discipline is not about following rules. It is about commanding your own spirit when it begs for escape. And controlling your mind is not a one-time victory. It is a battle that must be fought every morning, every hour, every moment. Until your mind kneels and says, I obey you.